There are two major features that every good landscape backpack should have: all-day comfort and efficient gear access. And when it comes to this backpack, yeah, we gotta talk about it. What's up, y'all? So Project Photography back with another video, and today iFootage sent me their Beava Backpack 35, which is meant for outdoors photographers, aka landscape photographers like me, and today I'm going to be reviewing it. But everything I'm going to be saying in this video is purely my opinion. They didn't have any say into what I'm saying, and at the end of the day, they're going to be seeing this video at the exact same time that you guys are. So this is my full honest opinion, but unfortunately there's one major deal breaker about this bag that we have to talk about. Now, I mentioned there's two major components when it comes to a good landscape bag. The first one, like I said, is all-day comfort. You want to be hiking and your bag is just really uncomfortable the entire time. That's not that fun. But the second component is the efficient gear access, and this bag honestly struggles with it. But I'm actually pretty happy when it comes to the side access. I think they actually did a good job, and for a landscape bag, this is not easy to do. My camera is usually face up when I take it out, and that's something that I can't say about a lot of other landscape bags. The other component that's actually quite good is the side pocket. It's really nice and stretchy, but also there's this clip at the top where you can lock it in place. This is especially nice when I have a tripod on the side or something that's a bit longer. I can make sure that when I lock it in, it stays there. However, this backpack has front access, which is a complete deal breaker for me. Because let's just say you're shooting in an environment like the ocean, the desert, the mountains, where the ground is really dirty with sand, rocks, water, all that kind of stuff. Your straps and your hip belts get dirty. That's not fun because you're constantly cleaning them off. And if you don't have anything to clean off with, you have to put it on your back, which gets your clothes dirty, and it's just not a fun, comfortable experience. And when I was shooting, a lot of the times, I was either constantly cleaning the bag off, or I just decided to not take the bag off because I just felt like it was such an inconvenience. And when you're on shoot, the last thing you want is for your gear to not be accessible to you, which is a major reason why I carry around a towel with me everywhere I go. And I even do that with my Shimoda. But especially with a bag like this with front access, you absolutely have to have a towel to clean everything off and so forth. But this is why back access is so important for landscape photography bags, because you are going to be putting your backpack on the ground all the time and you just don't want your straps to get dirty. But when we do open up the backpack itself, there is actually quite a bit of room in here. There is a lot. I mean, just take a look at this. It even comes with dividers so you can organize it the exact way that you want. My main gripe with this, however, is that I feel like when it's closed, there's a bit of space in between the front of the bag and the actual dividers itself. So sometimes some like smaller stuff, if I have like rocket blowers or batteries even, it'll move around. But fortunately for us, we do have some zippers up here where I will keep things like batteries because these are smaller items and I just feel like it locks itself in much better. And if we look at the part where we have the side access, there is another zipper component where you can throw in things like SD cards or filters. I think it's actually a pretty decent setup inside, and it will at least give you enough room to have all of your landscape photography gear. And if we move to the top, there's actually a compartment for your laptop, which is really nice. For me, I have a MacBook Pro 14-inch M1, and it actually fits very comfortably with enough space to most likely fit, I want to say, like a 16-inch. Probably get away with that pretty comfortably. And then at the bottom here, we have this magnetic clasp that would house a tablet. And for me, I have the iPad Air 11-inch, and again, fits extremely comfortably. You could probably fit a much larger tablet in here without any issue. But then if we move to this front part here, we also have another zipper compartment, which you could probably throw in some like batteries or cables or some other stuff that you'd probably use in conjunction with your laptop and your tablet holder. I have no issues to say about this, and actually I think it's pretty good because it can come down pretty far, because those zippers go down pretty far to the side of the bag, probably a little more than halfway. But as we move around to the front here, we can see that we have some extra storage. Now, to unlock it, you have this magnetic clasp here that's extremely easy to open and close. I think that's a great addition. And if we open this up, you can actually see that you can fit a full-size tripod in here. My P Design travel tripod with the open ball head had no issue fitting here. And I think it's solid because we are able to have a space that fully encloses your tripod. For such a big, large, heavy item, it's good because you don't want it moving around all the time, especially if you have it in the side pocket. But on top of it, we do have some zippers on the side here that you can almost side access in a way, which is nice if you have some stuff on the side of the tripod to go ahead and access really quickly. Unfortunately though, there is one major flaw with having the tripod on the front. And don't get me wrong, I think having a dedicated portion for your tripod is actually a great idea and something I wish a lot of other manufacturers did. Unfortunately though, having it on the front is not very ideal. Because tripods are quite heavy, it actually pulls back on you. And for our landscape photography, we want our bags to be as comfortable as possible and take as much load off our shoulders as we can. And this bag just simply doesn't do that. The goal is to minimize the amount of strain on your shoulders in particular, and I end up just putting the tripod on the side of my bag anyways. And you have to remember, all the gear that you're packing in your bag, you have to put it on your back for sometimes 10, 20 miles at a time when you're hiking. And if it's not comfortable, it makes the entire trip really not a pleasant experience at all. And unfortunately, I feel like for this bag, it is a weak point. And don't get me wrong, this backpack actually has a ton of necessary features that make backpacks generally very comfortable. First of all, we do have a hip belt here, shoulder straps, and load lifters. I just kind of feel like they're not designed or thought out in the best way possible. Like for example, these load lifters, when it comes to the contact point at least, it starts in the middle of the shoulder strap, which is not very good because if you see here, if I pull this all the way back, there actually is a part of the shoulder strap that has to collapse. And you feel that contact point when it comes to your back and having this backpack on your shoulders. It's just not a great design. I mean, you don't want more material there. In fact, you want less. For example, my Shimoda, the contact point starts way higher up, it's more comfortable. You don't really feel the shoulder straps at all, and you can hike for just way longer. And another issue with the contact point being there is that when I have the load lifters all the way up, the shoulder strap actually comes up quite a bit. As you can see, there isn't very much shoulder strap that's actually touching my body and giving me support. This is not a good thing. You generally want more shoulder strap than less. However, the hip belt is actually quite good and does a pretty good job at supporting these shoulders and taking the weight off of them. And honestly, I think that's probably the best component when it comes to comfortability. If one component had to be really good, it probably is the hip belt. But there's two more things that I actually wanted to mention about this bag. The first one is the size. I mean, if you look at it from the side view, it's actually quite long. And that's not a good thing. Generally speaking, you want your backpacks to be as compact as small as possible. And when I'm taking my Shimoda Action X30 onto an airplane, it barely fits under the front seat. And that's really important because to me, that is my personal item. And then I have a separate luggage for carry-on. I think if you brought this bag, I don't have that much confidence that I'd be able to fit underneath a seat on an airplane. And that's kind of important to me because you're going to be traveling with this backpack. And if you can't do that, it's going to be much more difficult to take it around. I just wish this bag was a little bit shorter and was a little more compact, to be honest with you. I think that would solve a lot of those issues when it comes to it being front heavy and so forth. But I know it seems like I've been harping on this bag a lot in this video, but to be honest with you, one area that it actually does a good job in is weather resistance. I took it to my 1,000 steps beach shoot and it did a really good job. I mean, I had a point where I was shooting something or when it came to that cave and the water was just coming in really hard and it actually got me really wet and this bag super soaked, and everything inside stayed dry. There wasn't any water leakage. So I actually feel pretty confident when it comes to the weather sealing. But with that being said, let's jump right into my final thoughts. At the end of the day, no backpack is perfect, but the fact is that having front access and its lack of comfort makes it really difficult for me to recommend this to photographers. I mean, front access just makes it so much more inconvenient to access your gear, and I just felt like when I was hiking for those longer periods of time, I felt these straps pulling on me constantly, and that's just not a fun situation to be in. And for $250, this is not a cheap bag. Peak Design just announced an outdoor line of backpacks that are meant for cough cough landscape photographers, and it's just so well designed, and it totally reaffirmed my idea that, you know what, you can have a backpack that's well designed, fits all of your needs, and it looks great. And on top of it, even my Shimoda Action X30 is built really well, incredibly rugged, super comfortable, and is super durable. And I just feel like when I look at this backpack, like it does not hit those same marks that those backpacks do. And I feel like even if you had something like the Shimoda Action X30 that's $344, it is absolutely worth the upgrade to go to that, to get the better comfort, get the better, more efficient packing style. It's just a better landscape bag overall. So I have a hard time recommending this bag to landscape photographers, but I do hope that in the future that they look at this video and say, okay, these are the things we need to improve. Let's come up with the second version, and I'd be more than happy to give it a second try. Thank you to iFootage, and thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this was helpful and informative and helping you guys make the best decision possible when purchasing a bag for landscape photography. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for experiencing the world with me today. And if you have any questions about this bag, please feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.